Today, we are diving into something I find absolutely fascinating: the complex processing brain. We're going to go through 5 key signs that might just feel incredibly familiar to some of you.
So let me just ask you this. Have you ever been in a conversation, at a party or maybe a meeting at work, and you get this feeling that your brain is just starving? It's like everyone else is totally fine with the topic, but you are just desperate for something with more substance.
Well, if that sounds familiar, I really want you to hear this. You aren't being difficult. You're not a snob. What you're probably feeling is something called a bandwidth mismatch. It's this fundamental gap between the sheer depth of your thinking and the pace of the world moving around you.
And that feeling, it leads us right into our first big idea, the too much factor. This is all about why your mind feels like it's racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, while everyone and everything else just seems to be stuck in slow motion. So, at the heart of all this is a concept called deep processing. Think of it like this. When most people watch a movie, they process it horizontally. They just follow the plot from scene to scene. But if you're a deep processor, you think vertically. You're not just following the plot, you're also analyzing the characters' hidden motivations, the symbolism in the lighting, the subtext in the dialogue. You're digging down through all these different layers at the exact same time.
So how on earth does that actually work? Well, that brings us to our next section, thinking in layers. We're going to get into the mechanics of how your brain actually encodes information in this really different way.
Okay, this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got linear processing. It's super straightforward. Something happens, you react. Point A leads directly to point B. Simple. But over on the right, you see layered encoding. This is totally different. Your brain takes that one single stimulus and runs it through multiple layers of analysis before you even get to a conclusion. So it's not point A to B, it's point A through layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and then finally to point B.
Let's make this real. Picture a traffic jam. A linear processor just thinks, "Oh, I'm late, this is so annoying." But the layered mind sees the entire anatomy of the moment. Layer 1, sure, it's the immediate delay. But then layer 2 kicks in, and you're thinking about the bad urban planning that led to this. Then layer 3 has you analyzing the psychology of the angry driver in the car next to you. And heck, layer 4 might even be this deep philosophical dive into how much human potential is wasted just sitting in traffic. It all happens at once.
Now, thinking this way explains a very, very common and, let's be honest, often frustrating pain point: the small talk glitch. This is why, for a deep processor, a simple, superficial conversation can feel almost physically painful.
I mean, this analogy just says it all, doesn't it? Your brain is this high-performance engine, right? It's built for complex problems and heavy lifting. Asking it to make small talk is literally like using a supercomputer to play a game of tic-tac-toe. It's not just that it's boring, it's a profound waste of your processing power.
And that inefficiency, it leads to a very real thing called under-stimulation fatigue. This is the kind of mental exhaustion that doesn't come from being overworked, but from being forced to operate way, way below your brain's natural capacity. It's a really unique and frustrating kind of tired.
And the crucial thing to get here is that this isn't about being antisocial at all. It's about craving depth. You're just wired to skip the "how are you" and get straight to the "who are you." You want to talk about theories and fears and the universe and contradictions. Anything with some real meat on its bones.
But it is not all challenges. Not even close. Let's totally shift gears and talk about the primary advantage of this trait, which is the pattern recognition engine. This is the hidden superpower of having a layered mind.
To put it as simply as possible, you are a synthesizer. Your superpower has a name: divergent pattern recognition. It's this incredible, almost magical ability to spot connections between things that seem completely unrelated to everybody else, and you weave all these different threads of data into one coherent picture.
So here's how it actually shows up in your life. You're the one who immediately notices when a friend's tone of voice completely contradicts the words they're saying. You're the one who sees how a political event happening today is just an echo of something that happened 100 years ago. You see the connections that are practically invisible to most other people. And this ability, this is exactly what makes you an amazing problem solver, a true creative visionary. And yeah, let's be real, it's also what can make you come across as, well, a little intense sometimes. But that's just part of the package, isn't it?
Okay, so what do you do with all of this depth in a world that, a lot of the time, seems to prefer the shallow end of the pool? This brings us to our final and I think most important section: don't flatten yourself.
Please, if you take away one thing, let it be this. Just let it sink in for a second. Your depth is not a defect. It is not something that is wrong with you or something that needs to be fixed.
In fact, let's reframe it completely. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Think of your brain as having this incredible built-in filtration system. It's designed to automatically filter out all the superficial noise to make room, mentally and emotionally, for what is actually significant.
So please stop apologizing for your intensity. Stop trying to flatten your mind to fit into a two-dimensional world. The goal isn't to change who you are. It's to go out and find the people who actually want to swim in the deep end right there with you.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Do you struggle with small talk? And if the answer is yes, what are the deep conversations you're really truly craving instead?